Now back to what we were saying. You said that y'all moved to a different location, and that's when the problem started, right?
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you exactly, from the beginning, how everything,
Okay.
start
Start from the
happening.
beginning. How the man left the relationship.
I'm gonna tell you when we started and what I was going through back then.
Okay.
Okay, so I was a single mom for 4 years. I went through a lot before, was single mom. I lost my house, I lost my dad, I lost my job, I lost my car. I was in a very deep depression back then, but I made made it through with my 4 kids. So I was living in the Riverside area in
The
California.
Riverside area.
hmm So I have good people around me, helping me with my kids. I was getting back to work, getting up my feet, raising my kids on my own. And then this man came to my life again because he was my first boyfriend. And then for some reason my family didn't want him, so we stopped dating. And he knew that I got separated from the parents of my kids, and he started looking again for me. And I was telling him that I wasn't the right person for him because he was a single person and he never got
So
married.
when
And
y'all got together the first time, did that you had the kids then?
when I was 16, when I had my first boyfriend, so
So
it was him.
okay.
Yeah, so I was a kid, at 16. He was back then
So when
19.
y'all got together the first time, basically y'all didn't have any kids.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Okay.
No,
So when
and
y'all got
girlfriend.
back together the second time, that's when you had all the kids. Years later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened after that?
Well, he started like talking to me. That he knew that I was going through hard time and he wanted to help me. And I said, no, I don't need no help right now. I need to focus to work and get my kids, raise my kids by my own. And he was insisting like for 2 years until I made a decision, that okay, we're gonna try it again. But I wasn't ready. Most likely was like I needed the help. I wasn't in love with this person. I wasn't like feeling
So you used
like
it sounds like
love.
you used them for benefits.
No, I let him know
You let
that
them
I
know in the
wasn't
beginning
ready
that I'm
for
about
no.
to use you, but if you let me use you, it's on you. It's basically what you did. I'm letting you
Well, I
know that I'm
told
gonna use you now. If you fuck with me,
No, no, it sounds very mean like that. But yes, I let him know that I wasn't ready for any relationship because I went through so much in the past, with the husband. You know, he he abused one of my kids, and I was so hurt. I wasn't trusting nobody to come into my
so
life anymore.
did he physically abuse the kids or molested the kids?
Molested.
Okay, so that was why you had your guards up about a new
Yeah,
man because they have okay now I understand what's going on.
yeah. So, and I told him that I wasn't ready, and I for any relationship, but he knew that I need the help, and he insists and insists, and until I make a decision that move from where I was living to the place that he was living in Orange County. So I make a big decision, and I never asked my kids or anything. I just did the move, and my kids didn't like that, and they didn't like this person because it was like a completely stranger for
Right.
them.
So when y'all move, when did the problem start with the kids in between him not getting
So when
along?
I moved, I didn't move with him. From the beginning, I was living on my own for like a year. I didn't want to live with him right there. We just were seeing each other in the weekend, like every Sunday. He would take us out for breakfast, and that was like every a routine for like a whole year. Like the kids getting to know him and stuff.
So
Like
during that time, everything was going good, and it seemed
not
like
really.
it wasn't.
No,
So they didn't like
no.
him from the start.
Yes. So I gave him the chance to get.
So let me ask you something. What reason do you think that they didn't like the man from the start?
They didn't. They didn't want him because my kids say that I deserve better. That
Okay, how old
why?
were they when they said that you deserve better?
Uh, my oldest one was 17, and the youngest was 4.
So which one said that you deserve better?
My boy and my daughter, the one who was 14.
So what do you think made them say that you deserve better? And he was just y'all was just basically doing
Because
weekend
the
trips.
the way the way he was living his life, and like
Hold on, let me ask you
uh,
something. How do they know what a grown man that you just met, how they live in their life? How do they know that?
because they know this guy is since they were little, because he always was around my family, you know, because we are from the same place in Mexico,
What place in Mexico is that from?
Guerrero.
Guerrero.
Mhm.
Shout out
So
to
he's from
Guerrero, Mexico. God damn it.
same, same place
So what did they
where
see in his
we grew
life?
up
So what did they see in his life as a child that would let a child know that he's living so wrong?
because they always see him drinking.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they always see him drinking, and like not caring for himself.
So let me ask you something. When y'all was building the bond that year before you moved in, he was drinking on the weekends when he was spending time with y'all?
Not when the kids were around. Yes, after that he would go and drink
Okay.
with
So
drugs.
he was being respectful, even though they seen him drink when he was around y'all and doing the
Yes.
visits trying to build a bond, he wasn't drinking, right? Okay.
Mm-mm.
So they
No.
was basing their judgment on what they seen before that.
Yes,
Okay, well I
because
have to
he
be
was
real
like
in this situation now. I'm gonna let you finish, but um, it it shows that he had some type of respect and that he was trying to be a good person by not drinking in front of the kids. While they was building the bond, even though they might have seen him drinking before, when
mm-hmm.
y'all was not around. So a lot
Yeah.
of times, uh, kids are speaking on stuff that they shouldn't. Now, if he was while y'all was building the bond, pulling up on the Saturday and the Sunday, and y'all going to dinner and out to eat, and he's getting drunk, then yeah, they seeing the wrong environment. But if he was not doing that, then that means he was making some type of effort to not fuck up. Now keep going.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that he didn't try. He did try, but I even asked him, are you ready for this? Because like a single mom, I was like protecting my kids. I would say my kids always gonna come first. You know, I know you care for me, and I'm gonna try to take care of you and get to love you. But at this moment, I don't feel any love for you. I, like you say, yes, I need the help back then because I was totally,
So
you
really,
know,
it was like he liked it you liked him as a person, but as
yeah.
far as a relationship, you really didn't want that from the start. But since he just kept on consistently, constantly trying it and trying it and trying it, you just gave in and just was like, fuck it. And when a
Basically,
person be with somebody that they don't really want to be with long term, after a certain amount of time, they can't take it no more. And they have to just get out of it because they're not going to be happy. You can only fake it for so long. So it sounded like
I
you was faking it.
tried. I wasn't faking it because I told him from the beginning I wasn't faking it. He knew,
Right.
and he he gave me my space, for me to heal or something. Because, but at the same time, he was drinking, and then he was like mistreating my kids, and instead of me loving him, it was like putting me a part of him, like two different teams. We didn't make things like together.
So y'all was on
Every time
different teams, just in the same
yeah,
house.
every time I tell him, oh, I want to do this with the kids. Oh, go ahead, you go. Like he
So let me
didn't
ask
want
you
to.
something. Okay, the relationship was basically built off of him not giving up on having you, regardless of you constantly telling him that this is not gonna work. So you
This,
finally give in. You give in for the stability and the extra help. So as time goes
you
on,
know, hold on. The way I see it now is because I couldn't be the person that he wanted me back then when we were younger, like 16 and 18 or 19. Um, he didn't want the trophy, right? So he wanted to make sure he got it this time. He got the money, he got the stability, and I was broke. I was coming from a broken relationship. I lost everything that I had in life. I was I was bad in a bad situation.
yeah, so
And
you
I
was vulnerable.
think
You did
I
what a lot of
think
women do when they struggling. They meet a man that ain't struggling, and you take advantage. You didn't do nothing wrong though. You didn't do nothing wrong. I mean, you took advantage of your circumstance. Anybody human would do that. If you're
but
struggling,
I regret. I regret. You don't know how much I regret because he had me. He did what he never did with me when we were younger. Being boyfriend and girlfriend means just dating, like not sexual, no nothing, nothing like that. It was just like a boyfriend and girlfriend that I know, but now boyfriend and girlfriend here is a different thing. So we never, did any sexual things.
oh, so
It
it
was
sounds
just
like that you was like, I'm gonna. You thought that you could just get with him and not give him your coochie.
stop, don't say that.
Yes, that's what we say. You know, that's what we. How do you say coochie in Spanish? Since you don't want me to say it like that, because that's the truth.
No, no,
People are listening to you, and you have to represent for the Hispanic community. How do you
But
say coochie?
I
And
cannot say that word.
you can say that word so people listening to the show would know what I'm saying. You got to realize Mexicans listen to this show that love you and love the country. So I want to just be able to know the word. What does coochie mean in Spanish? Is it
I cannot
pinocho? I
say
think
that.
it's pinocho.
Stop.
That's it.
No.
What? Say it. What's the word? You scared to represent for the country. Okay, but anyway, it
Can
sounded
you
like
say,
that you thought that y'all could be in a relationship without having sex. That's what you thought.
well, that was my first boyfriend. I didn't know anything about sex. So probably he wants to be have
No,
sex.
you said when you got with him the second time, you had already had kids. You knew a lot about sex. You
Oh
knew,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, you
So
knew
yeah,
plenty
but
about dick. So what happened?
oh my God, don't say that word.
Yes, that's what this is. Legend the comic show. We don't we speak the real. We getting real right now. Come on now, you was being real. Don't start getting fake. Come on now.
I'm not fake, but I cannot say those words.
You don't have to. I
Yeah,
said it.
so
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, the second time, of course, that's what he wants because he never had it
The
before
first time, right?
that first time. So that was kind of, oh yeah, I got her. So I pay, I pay so pricey with him because
You say you paid
I don't,
pricey. What that is?
because I regret because I shouldn't wait and go through everything I was going through myself, not involve no men in my life at that time because I wasn't ready at that moment.
But a
But
lot of a lot of women that have
I
kids
pay.
and go through struggles, sometimes they have to have help from a man.
But
So
look, after the first year, he totally changed, and I feel like I got trapped from him. Like I had to obey what he say, whatever needs to be done at the house. I had to do it because I was that was my job, right?
so what did you
So
think? You felt
even if
like
I like it or not, I respect his what he demands.
so you felt like he was a slave.
Yes.
Damn.
And mistreating my kids and myself and using profanity when I wasn't used to hear those words in my life. So it was very hard for me to hear from a man to treat me this way, saying that he loves me, saying that he was like waiting for me and saying all those bad words to me. It was not I was not expecting none of that from him.
So do you think that he
He
got
was fake.
right? But do you think he got corrupted once he came to America? Is the reason why he was acting like that, or do you think that was just
Well,
in him? Period.
we were my first boyfriend was here. So we never had nothing to do with Mexico. It was here because that's where we met. We see each other again. But when I was in Mexico, no, I not even look at him because back then I was little and he was a little older than me, like 3 or 4 years older than me.
So when you was 16, he was grown.
That yes, I was.
Oh, so this was a Chester child molester. Do you know that?
I don't
You,
know,
you
but
know
yeah,
you were 16 and he was 20.
that's what my brothers told him. If I see you again with my sister, we're gonna call the
So
police on
now
you
I
because he's.
understand. I was trying to give this man a little credit and you just spilled the beans. He was 20 years old.
Yes.
sleeping with us, well, trying to sleep with a
No, no,
16-year-old.
no,
He was trying
no.
to, but you was a virgin. I remember. I got you. But the point is, if you would have let him, he would have did it.
I think so.
I ain't no
Yes.
think so.
He tried it once and I got scared and I
Yeah,
didn't ever let him touch me again, you
yeah.
know.
God damn. So moving on to the kids. So everything was right. You told me for the first year when y'all got together, he had no problems or issues with the kids, right?
Mm-mm. As
Then you was
soon as he
telling me.
moved in to live together, that's what everything changed.
So when he
Everything.
right when he moved in, that's when the kids start acting crazy. I'm assuming,
Yes. Mhm.
and when they start acting crazy, that was the beginning of the end of y'all relationship. Now you said
Yes.
for the first year, no problems, and then all of a
Because
sudden,
we weren't together.
because what?
He was at his house and I was in my place, you know.
Right. So he
But
didn't get a chance to see the how much hell he was finna have to go through.
no,
And
no, no, no.
yeah, he did.
Not,
When he was standing by himself and you was standing by yourself, he didn't really know what he was up against. That's what I'm saying. And when he moved in up under the roof and everybody's under the same roof, that's when you see the real life of how a person is and their kids.
yes.
So just being with a woman on the weekend, taking the kids out, it's a totally different ball game than when y'all
Yes.
stay together.
And I questioned him, why you acting like this? This is a different you, and I don't like the way you're talking to me. I don't like for you to use profanity when you talks to me. I don't appreciate that. And I told him and I told him many times, and he keeps saying, these bad words, what every Mexican say to their women. I don't know.
What is their
And
word?
for
What
me,
every Mexican say to their woman? Because America don't know. You got now. If you're on the show, people need to learn. What do Mexicans say to their women?
well, when they're so disgusting, they say the B word in Spanish,
How do they
like
say it? What is,
vete a la verga, those
so when
those
they get mad,
things I cannot
when
say.
they get mad, you gotta say it, baby, because you have
Yes,
Mexicans listening, and they're gonna be like, "Why you not representing the
but
country?"
but
But
that's too much.
it's not
That's
no
a
too
big
much.
word.
It's the truth. You can prevent other women from going through what you went through. Do you understand that?
Yes,
It's
that's
a
why
yeah.
I'm telling my story.
Right.
You know,
So it's not nothing bad. You know, people say all type of stuff. We just saying the real. So when he would get mad, he would call you the B word in Mexican, basically. In Spanish, I
see,
mean. So,
see.
okay. So everything was going perfect, kind of perfect. Y'all move in together and it starts. When did the kids start having a problem with him when he first moved in?
When Well, because my kids were not used to be in a place or with people say bad words or like no respect. So that's where they get out of control. There's like, why you're talking like that to my mom? Who are you? Especially the 17-year-old.
So when
That
y'all
was
first
my that
moved,
was my kid, my boy.
yeah, you're 17. Yeah. Okay, so you was
Yeah.
telling me that y'all moved to a different location is why the kids start getting mad, right?
Yes, because I cut everything from their lifestyle.
So
You
when you
know,
move
they,
to a different place, that's when they start saying stuff to him and creating stuff.
well, I'm not gonna say that's his whole responsibility, but yeah, my kids were not used to a man who will call their mom names.
So he
And
was calling you names in front of them
yes,
all the time.
all the
Soon
time.
as he
So
first moved in or before.
no, no, no. When he moved in with
How long did
us,
it take him to call you that for the first time when he moved in?
like the very first month, he started, using profanity and drinking,
So
and
what would push him to the point of using profanity when he first started? Because he was drinking or something that happened.
because he wasn't used to, he never had any kids or been married or we be with a person with kids, and he was like annoying, with the kids. Kids are kids, when they're like 4 year old, 6 year old. That's that's
So when he would
their
get annoyed,
play, they
what do you mean
scream,
by getting annoyed with the kids? Like if they would do
like
something,
they're,
he once so
they will
basically they would
play
do
and
something and
scream, and he will say shut up and saying bad words, to them.
oh
And my
yeah.
kids would get, scared, or, like, who is he, mom? Why you're not saying anything? Like, they would look at me like, why he's treating us like this?
Okay, now I
He's
see.
not a,
I was trying to defend him, see what he was doing. Uh,
he
so
was
that
fake.
mean he started. So he was drinking when y'all first moved in. Sound like it.
Oh, yes, they won.
But he never drink when y'all was going to the weekend park stuff.
No,
Okay, so he was hiding and faking and portraying the
yes.
image. And soon as he moved in, you seen what that motherfucker was
He
really
said,
like.
this is my house, this is my place, you guys do what I said. And like he was the boss, including me. Like I was like, I'm little, but I feel more little when he started treating me like that. Like I wasn't nothing. Like, and I'm a type of woman that, I like to be independent. I work long shifts, and for a man treat me that way, like, I know I let you come to my life, but not for this.
Yeah, we ain't
I
signed.
thought you're
We didn't
gonna
sign
be.
up
I
to be
thought,
treated like shit.
yes. And even though he will pay the full everything, he decided to take that, but I was always helping even more than I supposed to, because God has been blessing me with good jobs, and I like to do my job, you know, to the max, and get everything, for my kids and myself. So I was not just anybody, I like to work. I like to support my family.
That's what happened.
I was
This
able
is
to
a
do that.
case of a man in control of everything and feel like because he paying everything that he can do whatever. They have a lot of men
It
and women
wasn't,
do that. They pay all the bills in the house and they have another person living in, and they just run all over them just because they paying the bills.
but it wasn't that case. Yes, he helped me. He lit me up, but
I
to
thought
be
you said he
honest,
was
no.
paying all the bills. You said he said it was his house and his.
But I was working and helping him
Uh,
and providing myself too. I wasn't just living out of him.
right. So he just felt like so he's just a possessive man then.
Yes, he
Yeah, he
was.
just wanna run shit for no goddamn reason. So yeah,
Yeah.
he fuck he. It was a it was a big it was a big percentage of
He
both of y'all.
never, he never, never, ever, got the whole responsibility for me and my kids, because I always, got not enough money at that time when we got together.
Well, you did good. I thought. And when we first started this interview, that you was
No,
the big reason that
no,
it
no.
didn't work out. Cause see, if you made it seem like that you just moved to a different area and the kids got spoiled and got mad because they was going to different schools and missing their friends and they just started causing confusion. But then
Oh
you broke it
no.
down and let me know that he was portraying an image until he got you locked
Yeah,
down. As soon as y'all got in the house together, he became who he really was. That's why they say
yeah,
you have to spend real quality time with a lot of people before you really know who they is sometime. Because if you're not around somebody, spending the night and 24 hours, you really can't. They can fool you. They can
yeah.
fool you.
That's what
And you
happened.
actually might not end up being happy with the person like you thought once y'all be around each other. So you need to check the temperature and make sure. Like, for instance,
Like,
I got with a girl years ago, nice personality and all that, but she had nasty habits. And this was the turnoff. I bought her something to eat, and we were sitting down eating the first time. And I'm sitting in the chair, she's sitting on the bed. She started chewing the food up. She get through eating. She sucking her fingers, and I'm thinking she gonna wash her hand and get napkins. She wiped it. She wiped her hand all on the bed like the bed was a napkin.
oh,
I said, "Hold on, hold on, hold on." I said, "We not gonna be sleeping with roaches in the bed and all that." I said, "I don't do that." She like, "Oh, I'm sorry." So I started thinking like, I know this just not something that she did the first time. Because think about this: who eats food, have food on their hand, and wash they hand literally with the sheet? That's so nasty.
that was her
So
habit.
she did it again. I was like, oh, this is what she been doing. So I sat down and I had a talk. I said, look, we cannot do this. I'm not used to nobody eating, wiping food stains all on the sheet. When you get through eating, you gotta wash your hands and do this shit the right way. So, like, the moral of the story is, you never know how somebody is until you really live with them.
Yeah.
But I appreciate your time,
Like,
appreciate your
and it
energy.
might be perfect, but I everybody has mistakes. I'm not blaming or putting all the blame on this person, but I try to give him a house and a family, but it wasn't enough.
Well, let the world know before we end this interview how you came to this country and how you uh, made a success of yourself in this country. And we're going to wrap it up like that. What country did you come from?
I'm coming from Iguala Guerrero, Mexico. When I was 14, I started my high school here, and I started my first job when I was 15 at McDonald's. I was doing cashier, barely speaking English, and I tried myself, and I from 15 years that I started working at McDonald's, it was very hard for me because I came to this country just with the brother. So I didn't have no mom, no dad.
So your mom
And
stayed back in Mexico.
yes, I was the little princess of my house. And I was spoiled, I guess. I didn't do nothing but go to school, come eat, do my homework, go to church. Then when I came to this country, it was a totally different world. I had to go to work. I, I mentioned it to you before. I had to eat from the trash can. I feel so sad because I didn't have no money to buy my lunch, and but
And you
that
see
made
how
me.
you see how how you prevail. You came to this country and you walked to work at your first job at McDonald's. And because you didn't have money until you got your first check, you had to eat out the garbage can. But that didn't break your determination. It didn't break your drive. You stayed strong and you prevail.
Well, let me tell you, I started as a cashier and I grew up in that company, becoming a general manager, running two, three restaurants at the same time. And I grew up a lot in that company, in everything.
So you went from a cashier all the way up to the top of corporate.
Yes,
See, that's what I'm talking about. Moving up in this world.
yes.
And we got
And
people born
after
over here every
that,
day can't do that.
my experience, it grew up and I tried different other places, and I was successful in everything, I did until now. I feel very,
What other what
very,
other
very
what other
proud.
jobs that you have other than McDonald's when you first got here? Once you graduated
Uh,
from cashier to the corporate level, what was the next step?
well, after that, I never was a cashier. From there, all my positions become general manager for companies that I apply, and they appreciate my knowledge. And I grew up with other companies too. It was California Kitchen, here in California, and I worked for El Pollo Loco as well for like 10, 12 years. And all my jobs after McDonald's, yeah, I was just managing restaurants.
So you went from a worker to a boss.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
And now I just chilling, doing caregiving, CNA job.
when you came and you prevailed in the country, did you go back and get your mom, or did you go get other sisters or brothers, or they just wanted to stay in Mexico?
Well, everybody came to this country because of my brothers, my older brothers. I help with money for them to come, but I cannot have all the credit. My brothers did it
So y'all, the family
because
did it basically.
Jesus.
Y'all all stuck together. Once y'all came to this country and prevailed, y'all pitched in together as a family and made sure that the rest of the family could get over here so they can make it.
Yes, yes.
Ooh, if black folks can do that. Oh,
I have brothers. They're very financial. They're very stable. I have a brother who lives in Vegas. He has his house paid off, two cars paid off. He has um, some apartments that he bought that he's renting, and he's living out of his rent. And he has some properties in El Salvador, in Mexico, and Arizona. And I have another brother in Mexico. He's very good too. He has so many, land and houses, and people up there, they treat them with so much respect. And but they came here and make the money, and they buy the equipment to go and work the land and where we grew up.
right. Came here, made the money,
So
went back
yeah,
home.
he can come back and forth. He has he's a citizenship person, and he has both nationalities. He's Mexican and he's American.
Okay, so he
So
got everything. He ain't got to worry
all
about them people that always talking about they crossing the border. He ready.
no, yes, and all his kids. He has 14 kids,
Damn, he
and
been
all of
stroking and poking. 14? Ooh.
he and all of them, they're very good in here in America, in US. And they go every summer, every events in Mexico. They all go together with their families, and I have some other sisters here and another brother. They're doing pretty good, and I'm very blessed to be in this country, and I think I got many things that I never dreamed to have. But everything is um, put in effort, be disciplined, work hard, do the right things.
Y'all heard that, America? We gonna end the show like this here. You motherfuckers that's black and born over here just like me, don't wake up complaining no more. We got Hispanics, strong Mexican brothers and sisters that come from another country and prevail and live well, and they don't even complain. No excuses. This is a beautiful story from Guerrero, Mexico, all the way to the United States. Signing out.